If you like this video, click like. If you want to continue to follow our adventure, hit subscribe. Your support would be greatly appreciated.
Hello, Laws on the Road subscribers and followers. You know, I know I'm 1,000 miles closer to the equator than I was when I was in Missouri, which means I'm 1,000 miles closer to the sun, because right now the sun is in the summer in the southern hemisphere, and right now it's actually right at the peak. You know, it's just about to stop and start to return north. Yes, the sun returns north in the winter. So being here in Florida feels like a spring day. 60 degrees right now. I mean, I can imagine myself back in my stick and brick, 10 years ago, itching to start the garden. That's the kind of temperature it is. I really want to get a garden started. I can imagine starting that. Well, I just can't get over how amazing that 1,000 miles, how big of a difference that made. I can only imagine what it would be like having traveled from Wisconsin or Canada to Florida. Now, before we got here, I was kind of fearful because a lot of people were saying it was so cold, which it did. It got down to into the 30s a few nights. But we timed it just perfectly where we got here, where the nighttime temperature got down to 45 the first night, about 55 the second night, and both daytime temperatures have been in the 60s. So it done really, really well. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the sun. Something I didn't realize would have happened, but it makes sense. The science makes sense, and I'm not a scientist, so I'm not even going to try to explain the science. But you're looking at a picture here of a very blue sky, and I don't have a picture here because it's kind of cloudy. But when you get down south, that sky is no longer just blue, blue, blue. It's kind of a blue-green, maybe. Not such a deep blue. The reason is because of the reflective lights and all that. Being 1,000 miles closer to the equator, the sun is yellow. In comparison to being in Missouri, the sun is orange. It has more of an orange color. So even the differences between, look, here's the thing. Maybe the reason, earlier I talked to you about, in one of the videos, I talked about wintertime blues. Looking at the sun, since I was just there, looking at that sun being orange in Missouri. It's less bright, and I'm wondering if that is kind of a dreadful thing when you're outside. Just like blah, it's orange with that deep blue sky, and everything's shadowy in Missouri. When you're in the fall, it seems like the shadows are real more prominent, I guess is the right word to use. So, being down here in Florida, just 1,000 miles closer to the equator, the shadows are not near as bad. Being where we're at on the time zone, Missouri was right on the edge of the time zone to the eastern time zone, whereas Florida here is right on the edge of the Missouri's time zone. So even I get an extra hour in the evening. Now I realize in the morning I'm losing that hour. Sun would rise around 7 o'clock probably in Missouri. Here it's rising around 8 o'clock, 7:30. So you lose an hour in the morning, but in the evening you gain an hour. Sunset in Missouri was like 4:45. Here in Florida it's 5:45. So even that gives you a little bit more energy, believe it or not. I mean, I would, in the evening, you're rushing around to get everything done before it got dark. Where here I seem like I have an extra hour. I don't know. The whole experience of this spring thing has been amazing. So, and I just want to keep sharing it with you. Uh-oh. I love those kind of trees. Look at that tree with all the Spanish moss. There's a guy who comments on my YouTube channel. His name's Bill. And he wanted to see, he says he's got snow. So he wanted to see palm trees and green, and I forget what all he said. So I'm going to show him a tree with Spanish moss. So there you go, Bill. Anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Click like if you like the video.